Alright, hello, citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel here once again, and this is another tier list. So, it is my favorite season of the year. No, not summer, not fall, not winter, not spring, but WrestleMania season. And because it is WrestleMania season, I figured we would look at every single WrestleMania logo and rank them in a tier list. So, we got our WrestleMania logos here. There's about 39 of them, so we might be here for a little while. Well, a part of me wanted to wait until we saw what WrestleMania 40s looked like, what WrestleMania 40s logo looked like, but because that'll probably happen at WrestleMania, and I wanted to get out before WrestleMania, because after WrestleMania and after I review WrestleMania, I'm gonna switch gears. I figured I'd just go through like 1 through 39. And maybe we'll revisit this next year, do like a little part 2 next year. I'm not sure yet, but nevertheless, we got our WrestleMania logos here. And then we got our tiers down here. So we've got grandest of them all, meaning really, really good logo, really, really solid logo. Get you in that WrestleMania feel. And then A tier is still pretty good, pretty solid. Not the top of the top, but still pretty good, pretty solid. B is kind of the middle ground, not great, not horrible, but still good, like okay. C tier is meh, kind of kind of bottom of the barrel. One or two things keeping it from the bottom of the barrel, and the bottom is cut the feed, turn off WrestleMania. WrestleMania is canceled. Everybody go home. No more WrestleMania, just based off the logo alone. Which could you imagine? Jesus. But funny story, and kind of what I call it, cut the feed. I forget it was WrestleMania 17 or 18, where it was a hardcore match involving Raven and I believe the Big Boss Man, where Raven had the golf cart spot, and he was a millimeter. He was like, I think he said like inches or centimeters away from a wire being run over that would have cut the feed to the entire show. Raven single-handedly almost killed WrestleMania. No wonder he got buried. No, I'm kidding. But without further ado, a little more ado actually before we talk about it. A couple things I have to mention. For starters, as always, these are all my opinions. So if you disagree with any of these, that is totally and completely fine. But also, the quality of the show itself is not going to dictate how I feel about the logos. We're looking just strictly at the logos. Mostly because that wouldn't be fair. Because there may be some WrestleManias with logos, but still really, really solid shows. And then for some of these WrestleManias, the logo was the only good thing about the show. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting with WrestleMania 1. And this is pretty solid for the most part. Another thing with a lot of these logos you have to keep in mind is the era that these came in. This, of course, 1985, the first ever WrestleMania, and for the time, it looks decent. A couple weird things, such as like this line going through, and then having this part lighter, or this top half lighter than the bottom half. A little bit of a weird choice. I think they were trying to go for a 3D effect and try to make this like a shadow. But sometimes an idea pops into your head, but not always the best when it comes to execution. And I think that's what's going on here. But otherwise, it looks okay. You know, you got the WWF logo at the top, the blocky old school WWF logo, and then you got the gold and the silver here. This silver almost like on the blue side a little bit, kind of a bluish hue to it. But the first WrestleMania logo, for what it is, I'm actually gonna give it a B. So I'm just gonna put the number. So WrestleMania 1 is gonna go in B. Next up is WrestleMania 2, pretty much the same. The only difference being this big red 2 in the background. It does look kind of weird, or looking at it, like how this is supposed to be like gold and everything all shiny, and then you got like this almost neon glowing 2 in the background. It looks kind of weird, but nevertheless, I think it looks okay for the most part. The 2's not enough to really ruin it too much. No pun intended, but I think if this was difficult, I think if this was in like maybe like white or something, I think it might have worked a little bit better, or possibly even gold perhaps, or like a yellow. Oh, but as for the red, it does look a little weird, but it still looks okay. So WrestleMania 2 I'll also put in B, I think, in terms of logos. Next up is WrestleMania 3. And we're going to notice these for the next few WrestleMania logos. Pretty much the same like this one, except they added the Roman numerals at the end. Which a lot of people kind of assign Roman numerals to like later WrestleManias and I'll kind of sort of get to them. Why? Well, actually, I might as well mention now. Pretty much to show WrestleMania not aging. Apparently, Vince McMahon, and he definitely has a fear of aging, from what I've heard, which is really weird. But pretty much the same as like the first WrestleMania logo, which is what the Roman numeral right there. Or so. WrestleMania 3 is also going to go in B, I think. Normally I'd rip into copycats, but I'm gonna try not to do that so much anymore because sometimes if it works, why change it? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, And then WrestleMania 4, pretty much the same, like 3, except with the Roman numeral there. So WrestleMania 4 is also gonna go in B as well. Also, WrestleMania 4 is gonna go in B. Next up, WrestleMania 5, which is pretty much the same, except the 5 is down there, which does set it apart a little bit, but otherwise it's pretty much like the same. So 5 is also going to go in B. And then WrestleMania 6 is going to go in B as well. Pretty much the same like the other one, except with the numeral right there. It's not until the late WrestleManias where we get into really like different and sometimes drastically different logos. Next up is WrestleMania 7, and now a bit of a change here. For starters, this WrestleMania more like a curve this time around, but also has the 7 underneath there, and a bit of a difference. This part's a bit more defined. This one they're not going with as much of a shadow effect. It's still kind of noticeable, but they're not really going for as much of a shadow effect there, and kind of a glue to it this time around for the silver parts. So I think it looks okay. I still think I'm gonna put it in B, but looks okay. I do like just the change up. But WrestleMania 8's logo is the same as 7, and so WrestleMania 8 is also gonna go in B. Some copycat logos for the first few Mania logos, but next up is going to be WrestleMania 9. Now, a definite more noticeable change this time around for WrestleMania 9. So this time around, we have the logo like regular, like always with these, but this time around they got the circle and the plants back there because, of course, this is the WrestleMania that took place in Caesar's Palace, and so you got the Roman theme going on. So drastic. So a bit of like a major change as opposed to the other ones to fit the more Roman theme. Too bad the Roman set and the logo is the only good thing about the show. But 9, I'll actually, I think I'll still put it in B, but like the change up this time around. Next up, though, WrestleMania 10. Now we get into the really different ones, with like the X, of course the Roman numeral, and then the WrestleMania wrapping around it, and the WWF logo in gold there. A very different change from the other ones, which makes sense. It's the 10th WrestleMania. You should probably change the logo by now, but the solid gold WrestleMania, and then the WWF logo there. It doesn't have that weird shadowy effect like the other one does, but I think it works, and sometimes, less is more, as we'll see with some of these logos. So WrestleMania 10, I think at WrestleMania 10, and maybe it's because I'm feeling generous, but I think WrestleMania 10 I'm actually going to give an A for the change-up. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with A. Next up is going to be WrestleMania 11. So interesting notes here. So, very different from the other ones. This time, it's all in black, and then they're allowing the blue and purple, I guess like smoke effect to come behind it, to really, what's the word I'm looking for? To really define the logo, I guess. I'm not sure if that's the exact verbiage I'm looking for, but it does give it a distinct feeling, and it does give it a very distinct identity, and it does look pretty cool. And I like it in all black. Kind of gives like a dark feel to WrestleMania and everything. And so this one, WrestleMania 11, I think I'm also gonna put in I think also because we're seeing the change up from WrestleMania logos. But the next up, we scrolled up too far, is WrestleMania 12. This one is really cool. Something about it I really like, how it's kind of in like the same vein as the 20th Century Fox logo, with the WrestleMania sign facing outward, kind of like a separate building piece, and then the spotlights and everything. Like I said, kind of ripping off the 20th Century Fox logo, but still looks really cool. So WrestleMania 12, I am also gonna put it. Actually, WrestleMania 12, I think I'm gonna put in. Yeah, I'm gonna put in Grandest of them all. It's actually really, really good. I really, really like it. Next up though is gonna be WrestleMania 13. You remember how I said sometimes less is more? I think this is one of those cases where you have the WWF logo, and then you have the WrestleMania logo, and then the 13 there are almost kind of too basic, too plain, and just the 13 there, but the fire coming up. And it fits because, as while we're not there yet in terms of timeline, this is as WWF is transitioning into the Attitude Era. They would like fully transition later on in the year, but kind of giving WrestleMania more that like attitude feel. Well, and we kind of see we're going to see some of the formations of the Attitude Era on this WrestleMania as a whole. Of course, this is the WrestleMania with the infamous Bret Hart versus Steve Austin match. Infamous being good, of course, which I reviewed. So if you haven't already, go check out that review. But yeah, so seeing the 13 there and the WrestleMania logo just blazing up in fire is really, really cool. So WrestleMania 13, I'm also going to put in Grandest of them all. I really, really like it. It's really, really cool. Well, next up is going to be WrestleMania 14. This one, I can appreciate the ambition. I can appreciate the kind of the vision, trying to have WrestleMania look like a cube and everything to really define it and stuff like that. But it does look a little weird. And the fact that it's in red, like all in red, and then this part's in yellow, it does look a little weird in terms of logo. Oh, but it definitely is drastically different from the other ones. But I think, like I said, sometimes less is more. And I think that they tried a little too hard with this one. But remember, these are all my opinions, so if you disagree with any of these, that's fine. But WrestleMania 14, I'm not gonna put in like the bottom tiers like C tier or anything, but I am gonna put it in B. Like I said, I can appreciate the ambition. It's definitely very creative looking logo as well. Also, I just realized there's no 14 on here. It doesn't actually have the number 14 on here. It has the X was like 10, but no 14 on there. Next up is WrestleMania 15. So, this one, honestly, this one's a little too basic, I feel like. Just like the white, kind of like a marbling effect we have, and then the yellow of the X feet. Compared to the other ones where we had like this one, super cool, super awesome. This one, basic, but really cool and kind of gritty. And then this one, kind of creative and everything, really, really cool. And then to go to this one where it's kind of a little too plain for my liking. I do like how the X and the V kind of double as where the Wrestle and the Mania are. And of course, shout out to the WWE scratch logo there. But compared to the other ones, it's kind of a downer, in my opinion. I'm not gonna put it in the bottom, but I think I am gonna put it in C. A little too plain for my liking. Next up is WrestleMania 2000. Uh, this one, this one I'm kind of on the fence about. Um, I feel like there's some things I like. Um, I like how the WWF's logo there also doubles as the W for WrestleMania there, and the 2000. And I like how it has the lines and everything. And because of course, like the 90s and kind of like the 2000s, early 2000s were kind of like the radical bro kind of era, but uh, it does look a little weird. I feel like. Um, Thankfully, it doesn't fall into too basic territory. It kind of borders on it. It, and I like the lines and everything. Like I said, give it like the radical dude kind of look and feel to it. But otherwise, maybe it's the shade of green. But otherwise, I'm not really the biggest fan of it. So 2000 I might also have to put in C, which kind of sucks because 2000, of course, the year I was born, and of course, 2000 is aka WrestleMania 16, but of course it was referred to as WrestleMania 2000. But yeah, so, something about it I feel like it's kind of throwing me off a little bit. I'm not sure what it is though. But next up is WrestleMania 17, aka WrestleMania X7, and this one I really like. How the WrestleMania logo looks, and then the gold against the blue and everything. The marbling effect that they put in both the blue and the gold does look a little bit weird, but and I guess I can kind of understand why they do that, to kind of give it a little shine, make it pop a little more, but it does look a little weird, but still looks okay. So WrestleMania 17, I think I'm also going to put in B. Then next up is going to be WrestleMania 18, aka WrestleMania X8. It kind of going again into that radical dude territory. And a bit more simple in both the blue and the yellow in terms, not really the gold, but the yellow, and then the X8 there. But I think it's pulled off a little bit better than this one. I feel like, again, sometimes less is more, and I think it pays off here. So WrestleMania 18, something about it I think is really nice, and does help it pop. So actually gonna put 18 in A. Solid WrestleMania and solid WrestleMania logo. And next up is gonna be WrestleMania 19. Not sure I like these as much as the other ones. A little too basic. Probably because of like the white and everything, and the marbling effect is back. It doesn't look horrible, but compared to like the other ones, it's kind of a downer. But it still looks okay for the most part. So 19, I am gonna put in B. Not like going super high and then letting down, kind of like 15's logo, but still, I think the other ones I like a little more. Next up is WrestleMania 20. Something about this one I really, really like. I like the WrestleMania logo there, the WWE logo there, and then the black, and kind of making the black pop a little bit with the effects they have going on. I forget the exact name of the effect, but I like the double X, of course, and how it curves down, how to a point where they meet about right here, then curves down from there. I think that's a really cool design choice, and I think it's really well done. So WrestleMania 20, I am gonna put in B. Pretty. Thought it froze for a second, but still a pretty solid design choice. I like it. Next up is gonna be WrestleMania 21. Now there is an alternate logo out there with like the star, because this is when WrestleMania went Hollywood, but this is more so the logo that's frequently used when talking about WrestleMania 21. So this is the one we're gonna grade. But it's not a bad looking one. Like this one. I like the white there for the WrestleMania, and then the 21 there, and the blue, and then the black and everything. And I think it looks pretty cool and makes it pop a little bit. Not really a marbling effect, but like the lighting effect I think is kind of cool. But I also like that it's kept to like a minimal, so that it doesn't overpower the rest of the logo. Also, 21 I am gonna put in Yeah, 21. I think I'm gonna put in B. It's doing really cool for the most part. But next up is gonna be WrestleMania 22. Something about this I've always really liked. I don't know, just something about it. It like the triangle and the WrestleMania there, and then how it curves down, and then the 22 right there. Something about it is really really cool. But this isn't related to the WrestleMania at all either. But I also really like the layout of the arena, how it has like kind of this kind of sort of the city effect, similar to like was it WrestleMania 21, and then also also the posters of the different wrestlers I thought was really cool. But as for logo stuff, it still looks pretty cool. Something that I've always really liked. So 22, I'm actually going to give an A. Something about it looks really nice, and I really, really like. Next up is going to be, let's see, WrestleMania 23. Not quite as cool as 22 in my opinion, but it still looks okay for the most part. I like the white and the blue and everything, and the lines throughout, and the little sparkle right there. Again, not as cool as the other ones, almost a little on the basic side, but I don't think it hurts it too much. So 23, I will actually give a B. Yeah, so 23 I'm going to put in the B zone. Next up, though, is WrestleMania 24, aka the first WrestleMania I ever watched. But WrestleMania 24, I really like this logo, and I'm not just saying that because this is the first WrestleMania I watched, but because I like the logo, like the WrestleMania there, and then these blue pieces is like the curve out. I think has given it a bit of depth, and then the XXIV with the gold and everything, and kind of the yellow. But I also really like the rising sun in the background because, of course, this takes place in Florida. Florida, of course, very very sunny. So 24, here's a logo I really really like. So I am going to put it in A actually. So WrestleMania 24, very very solid logo, very very good stuff. Next up is going to be WrestleMania, the 25th anniversary. Although not really, but I really like this one. Got the WrestleMania logo there. It's got 25th anniversary down there. But the biggest defining point of it is the big star, or the star, like the stuff going on in the background. I think helps elevate the logo even more, and makes it pop a little more. Or so on that merit, I think 25 I will put in B. Almost a little too basic, but the star kind of saves it. Next up, though, is going to be, scroll up too much, WrestleMania 26. Not really the biggest fan of this one. I think it might be because of the color scheme, with like the red almost in maroon territory. In fact, this one kind of is like maroon, and then like the yellow there, it looks okay, but the color scheme is kind of throwing it off. Almost hurts the eyes a little bit. So 26, I'm actually gonna put in. I don't want to put in bottoms here. I don't think it's that bad, but I am going to put it in C. Yeah, not the best WrestleMania logo, but next up is going to be WrestleMania 27. This one I like. Like the WrestleMania lettering there, like the blue and the purple right there, and the yellow. I think it's really really cool and very very nice. And it's serviceable, very serviceable WrestleMania logo. So WrestleMania 27, kind of crappy Mania, not bad logo. So I'll put it in B. Next up is going to be WrestleMania 28. First of all, we have to acknowledge the nice little callback to WrestleMania 8's logo, and by extension 7, with like the curve and then the Roman numerals down there, except the double X now because we're at 28. Otherwise, it's got like the light blue and the orange to go along with it, and it's got the effect down there to make it pop and everything. So I feel like Orange, I'm usually not a fan of orange, but I feel like some colors it does go well with, and blue is definitely one of those colors, and I think it works there. So, WrestleMania 28, I am going to put in B. But next up is going to be WrestleMania 29. This one I really, really like. I like the kind of dual sided effect that we've seen with like 14 up here. They're kind of in a similar vein, except they try to go all around with it. But I like it on the dual sides, like the wrestle coming up this side and the Mania going down that side, New York to Jersey. But I also like the building up there, the detail of building, showing like kind of the city aspect of both New York and New Jersey. So 29, I gotta put in grandest of them all. So really solid logo, and that building I think really takes it to the next level. No pun intended. So WrestleMania 29. Say what you will about the show. Oh, actually, from what I remember, WrestleMania 29 wasn't really that bad, if I remember correctly. But so it's gonna go in grants them all tier. I forgot the name of it for a second. But next up is WrestleMania 30. Pretty cool logo. Oh, I like the white, and then the purple background, and then the gold trim around the purple. A part of me does kind of wish there was another color as well that they threw in, maybe like black or something, to kind of balance out the purple. But otherwise, it looks okay. So WrestleMania 30, I am gonna put in B. So WrestleMania 30 is gonna go in B down there. Next up is going to be WrestleMania play button. I mean WrestleMania 31. But in all seriousness, kind of basic, honestly. The numerals are gone. Not even the Roman numerals remain. WrestleMania is not allowed to age. We're not gonna let it age. But we like the white and the black, and then that weird play button down there. It's kind of weird. 31. Not really feeling that logo. Not gonna cut the feed, but I am gonna put it in C. Not the biggest fan. Next up is going to be WrestleMania 32. Show aside, because this one was kind of a stinker. The logo's actually not bad. Like the blue, like the red, the star, because we are in Dallas, of course, and the white. To go along with the American colors, but I think they're incorporated really well. If I had to make one change, I'd probably flip the red and the white. So make these white parts red and then the red parts white. But I still think it looks pretty cool for the most part. So WrestleMania 32, like I said, show is what it is, but I'm gonna put it in B. Next up is going to be WrestleMania 33. Kind of in a similar vein to how they did for WrestleMania 24, except that now the sun is on both sides, and then it's got the white and the blue right there. So I think it looks pretty cool. Of course, back in Orlando, for this year or so. So kind of giving it that feel with the sun on both sides. But yeah, so I'm going to give it a B there. Next up is going to be WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans. So, of course, we got like the Mardi Gras type covers. And then we got the gold there. We got the purple and the green. And we got the symbol for New Orleans and everything. I forget the exact name of it, but it's like, the French symbol, because New Orleans was French, and Louisiana was once a French territory, of course. But as for the logo itself, pretty cool, like the colors and everything. So 34, gonna put in B as well. 34 is gonna go in B. Still a really, really solid looking logo. Next up is WrestleMania 35. Like, I want to like this logo. I do, but I feel like a little too much gold. a little too much gold throughout, and then the red and the black along with it. Yeah, not the biggest fan of this one. I do like how they tried to put it, because we're back in New York City. How they tried to put it back into like the Statue of Liberty's crown and everything, but I feel like the color or uh, that kind of throws it off. So 35, I think I got put in C. I'm not gonna cut the feet on this one, but yeah, not the biggest fan. Next up is WrestleMania 36. The one where there was nobody in attendance because of the pandemic. But and I remember like everybody was speculating around that time when the pandemic happened and WrestleMania was going to be held in the performance center with nobody there. People were going to be like, people were like, "How's WrestleMania going to play out?" And I gotta say, it was kind of awkward not having anybody there. On, like on one hand, some of it kind of worked because you could hear like, hey, the superstars talking to each other. Here, obviously, they didn't have the crowd cheering and everything to stop them from being heard. And this is even before they got like the performance center recruits to fill in like a makeshift crowd. This is when no sound, no nothing, and at WrestleMania, the biggest show of the year. Here, obviously, we know why because of the pandemic and everything. But yeah, it was really, really weird not having any audience. But like I said, sometimes but sometimes the superstars let their emotions, well, at least in kayfabe that is, show through, and they were able to talk some trash. And then we got not one but two really cool cinematic matches in both the Boneyard match and the Firefly Funhouse match. But as for the logo itself, I do really like. I like the red and the pirate theme, and then the sword there with the WWE flag on there, well, the flag with the WWE logo on it. I think for that, I actually am gonna put it in A. WrestleMania side, with no crowd. I still think it's really cool. But next was WrestleMania 37. Yes, they used the pirate type theme 2 years in a row because the first time they didn't really get to utilize it in front of the people, but this time they did. And pretty cool setup with like the pirate ship and everything. Even though it rained to start off the night. WrestleMania 37 I actually didn't watch. I didn't watch either night. I should probably go back and watch WrestleMania 37. Maybe I will at some point. I'm not sure, but I think this one I like more than this one because this one has the full pirate theme. It's got the two swords. It's got the pirate skull. Oh, and it's got like the WrestleMania on the flag there. Kind of similar vein to like Pirates of the Caribbean a little bit, but I think it's okay. That they did that. But that one's a step up, so I got to put in Grandest of them all. It's really, really cool. Next up is WrestleMania 38. This one I really like. I like the star and how it pops out. You see WrestleMania 1 through 9. That's how you do a pop out effect. But then again, this was like several years later. But the pop out effect does look kind of cool. I like the star and everything, and the white and blue for that, and then little sparkles on there. So 38, its logo, I think was kind of cool for the most part. So WrestleMania 38, I am gonna put in B. And then finally, we have WrestleMania 39, aka WrestleMania Goes Hollywood again, and this one I think is really cool. Well, it would almost be a little too basic. With just like the one color with some differences. If it wasn't also for like the real stuff, like the film reel, because it's Hollywood and everything, and the gold and the sparkles, I think that helps elevate it. But it looks pretty cool. Ooh, so this one, I am gonna put in B. It does look a little weird with some of the color choices. How this one's more like that lighter yellow, almost in like beige territory. This one's more like gold. But I still think it looks pretty cool, especially with like I said, the film reel effects. But that is going to do it for my rankings. So to recap, in grandest of them all, we had 12, 13, 29, and 37. In A tier, we had 10, 11, 18, 22, 24, and 36. And B tier, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 14, 17, 19, 20, 21, 23, 25, 27, 28, 30, 32, 33, 34, 38, and 39. In C, we had 15, 2000, 26, 31, and 35. And thankfully, we didn't have to cut the feed on any of them. There was a couple that came kind of close, but we didn't have to cut the feed on any of them, which is fantastic. But that's going to do it for this ranking. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you can see as soon as it drops. Let me know in the comments below how you think I did on the rankings and what's your favorite WrestleMania logo and are you excited for WrestleMania. And thank you all so much for watching and I will see you guys later. Peace.